Hi, we're working on Unit 4, Lesson 5, and we're going to be talking about how to find the slope and the y-intercept of a table or a graph using the calculator. Now, you really have already learned these steps. What we're going to be learning is reading the graph or the table and applying the information that we're given to the situation we've been given. I've got my points on my left, and here I have given you some definitions. So slope, or M, is also the rate of change, and a calculator calls it the letter A, where B is our y-intercept, which is our starting point, and it's where it crosses the x-axis. Now, if I'm looking at this question here, which of the following shows the slope and the y-intercept of the graph? I know that my y-intercept is where it's going to cross the y-axis, and I can see that here. So I know that my slope is going to be, or my y-intercept is already -6, and I've got two options. So the next thing I have to do is I have to enter it into the calculator to get my slope. And I'm going to find my 2 points. I know that my x is 0 and my y is -6. Y-intercept can always be a point. And then I need to find another point where the line perfectly intersects on this graph. And that point that I'm going to see there is x is -4 and y is -4. So we've got -4 and -4, which means I want to write these points stacked vertically on top of one another. And then we put it in our calculator. I hit Stat and Edit. It's already on Edit, so I hit the number 1. And I've got to type in these points so that they look like that on the calculator. I have 0, and I hit Enter. Nope. Need to move this down a little bit. 0, Enter. Stat, Edit, Clear. 0, Enter, and -4, Enter. I'm going to move my cursor over. So it's -6, Enter, -4. Now, if you ever need to reset your calculator, if you use the second button, then the plus button, and then the number 7, 1, 2. A lot of times if you have an error message and your information in your table matches the information in this table, then you just need to clear out. You've done something on your calculator and you need to clear it out. So now that I've entered my points, the next thing is to go into tell my calculator to calculate it. I hit Stats, toggle over to Calc. I'm looking for the number 4 because I want it to give it to me in y equals mx plus b form. And here I go. My y-intercept is -6, which we saw, and my slope is -0.5. Now I know that 0.5 is not 2, but I need to double check. What is this 1/2? Well, if I go back and do -1 divided by 2, I'm left with a -0.5. It means my answer here is D. Now on this one, if I'm looking, it's asking me which best describes the slope of the line shown in the graph. Increasing 3 miles per minute, decreasing, decreasing. Well, I know that we're not decreasing because the line is going up if I'm looking at it left to right. So I need to know if it's increasing 3 miles per minute or 2/3 per minute. And I do that by putting my points into my calculator and finding the slope, because the rate or the slope is how the slant or the elevation of the line. I'm going to be looking for points that the intersection is good. And so if I see that there is every 2 points it's counting up, that makes this 1, 3. So my first point is going to be 1, 3. And then I want to find my second point, and it intersects here at 4 and 5. Let me double check. I came over 1. On this one, I came over 4 and up 5. And on this one, I came over 1 and I went up 3. Okay, now I've got my points and my table need to match just like that. So I'm going to enter them by Stats and Edit, and I hit Enter. I make sure that my cursor is over there by using the toggle button. 1, Enter, 4, Enter. And I'm entering this first line in that L1. And I have 3, enter, 5, enter. Enter my steps, stats, over to calculate, enter, enter, enter. Ooh, that doesn't look right. Must not have hit the right button. Stats, over to calculate, number 4, enter, 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 enter. Ah, okay. So my y-intercept is 2.3, repeating, and my slope is 0.66, repeating. I don't think that's 3, but I'm not sure what decimal 2/3 is, so I can go second divided by 3, 0.66. Yes, my answer here is H. Starting to get the hang of this? We have 2 more. We're going to look at a table now. The supermarket advertises a new product by offering samples to its customers. The table shows the number of samples distributed each hour. I'm looking at a per hour, so per each and every, I already know that I'm looking for my slope. And I have to pick 2 of these points here as my slope. The thing to know about tables is when they're going horizontally, this is my x coordinate and this is my y coordinate. So I will put my first one in. My first point in is 2 and 76. My second point in is 3 and 114. And I have to enter these into my calculator just like this. So I go stat, edit, which was just hitting enter. I move my cursor so I can put the points in. My x points are 2 and 3. And then I'm going to enter my points 76 and 114. Now I go back to stat calc, stat, move my arrow over, and I'm looking for number 4. Enter, 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 enter. And my rate or my slope is 38. So I'm looking at 38 samples per hour, per each hour. Last one. Claire earns the same pay each day she works at her new job. She deposits a weekly paycheck into her savings account. How much money did Claire have in her savings account before starting her job? That doesn't sound like a per each or every. So I'm looking for my starting point. This is my X, this is my Y. So that means my points go horizontally. And I entered them just as I see them. Those are 10 and 250. And that's 5 and 130. So I can enter in my L1 and L2 just as I see them. Stat, edit, enter, over to put 5, enter, 10, enter, over and up, 130, enter, 250, enter. My points look like my points here. Stat, calc, number 4, enter, 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 enter. And I've got B is 10. So my y-intercept is 10. I had to have started with $10 at the beginning. Now, you still have a few more practice questions here. What I want you to do is I want you to try them on your own, and then you can go to the guided practice video and check your answers.